it's Savannah Oakwin from Savannahland 2. Today I'm focusing on the 2016 Paper Smooches September Arrows die release. I think these little arrows are super fun. They are perfect for lots of projects. You can add them by stitching them on. You can attach them using staples. And you can even extend them like I've done for this card. Now I've shared this technique of extending your dies before, and I've shared how to extend my dies or partially die cut my images in several different videos. Just click the links above to check some of them out. Now this is a simple technique, but it takes a bit of coordination, a steady hand, and some time. I think it's totally worth it. Okay, so here's how I would make this arrow. Now please note, I hope that you will be able to see what I'm doing in this video. This is a very small die, and I'm going to zoom in as much as I can, so fingers crossed. The supplies you will need include your Paper Smooches arrow dies, and you can use any of these die shapes. You're also going to need a small hammer. Thanks to Travis's gran, she got me this little hammer. How cute is that? You're going to need some cardstock, an X-Acto knife, or a small pair of scissors. You're going to need possibly some washi tape, and I'm going to use some of my super favorite washi tape right now. They're little people. Oh my gosh. I used this on a card for one of the releases last month or this month. Anyway, super fun. And you're also going to need a self-healing mat. Now I have a smaller one that's going to go on top of this. You definitely don't want to make any dents or marks on your tables. So before we begin, let me clear my area, and I'm going to draw out exactly what we're going to try to cut out. I also need to pick out one of my arrow dies. I think I like this one. Okay. Let me place everything down, and let me actually zoom in. Let's see what we got. Hopefully this is zoomed in enough. Alright, so we have our arrow, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to make it, we're trying to bend it and extend it. So if I show you what that looks like in a, well, this is not a very good drawing of what this is going to look like, but when you're die cutting two sides. So how does this go? Like this? Well, anyway, okay. Do not judge my picture. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to die cut first this part. This is called the fletching, and then we're going to do the staff this way, and then we're going to do the head. Now when we're doing that, we need to make sure we're not double die cutting this, because technically this will die cut out further, and even when we're using it this way, you don't want to die cut this off, or it doesn't make a complete bend. So those are the places we're going to watch out for when we're cutting our die cut image. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. If not, write me and I will send you a message. Okay, so to start, I want to cut the end of the arrow, which is the fletching. And to do this, I lay down my die, and sometimes I use some washi tape and I hold my arrow in place. And it doesn't matter where on the paper. I mean, you can coordinate it to go where you want, but this is just cardstock random, so I'm going to just lay it right here. And then I'm going to take my hammer and lightly tap my die, and let me see if I can get a pointer. I'm going to lightly tap my die from the fletching end to about the middle of the shaft. And so this is what I'm going to tap. Now this is how I partially die cut my images sometimes, so I'm just going to lightly tap. Now sometimes I just want to point out, you do need to tap kind of hard, but not kind of hard. You really do want to die cut the paper, and sometimes that takes a little bit of force. That's really what I'm just trying to say. So sometimes you also need to just pound it a couple more times after you've already hit it. So that's what I'm going to do now. Next, I'm going to rotate my arrow, and I'm going to try and line it up the best I can so that it's straight. Also, you can see that this has been die cut. Ooh, it looks so cute. Okay. Oh, I also want to point out that this might bend your arrow die. Let me see if I can put it right here. It's all right. You just bend it back and it's straight again. No worries. Okay, so let me pick up my pointer. We're going to line my shaft up to my already die cut piece. Now remember, this little corner up here is where we're going to try and be very careful in hitting with our hammer. So, and I'm not even sure you can see this. Maybe if I poke this out, and now you can see it's been die cut a little bit. There we go. Now you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to line this up the best I can, and I'm going to tape this down. And again, I'm going to lightly tap my die just in the shaft area, which is in between the two head pieces. And I do not want to die cut where I have already die cut up here, and I'm not going to die cut down here. So I'm really just going to tap the center area. And by cutting only this part and tapping this part of the die with the hammer, I'm avoiding the corners. So we'll later cut those with the X-Acto knife or small scissors. Now you can repeat this for however long you'd like your shaft to be. But I just want it this big. And let me see if I can hold this up to show you how it's die cut just part of the shaft. Now don't worry if this doesn't come out of the paper yet. Remember, we're going to die cut that or cut it with our X-Acto knife or small scissors. Okay, so finally you want to rotate your die and tap your hammer from the head of the arrow to meet your shaft that you've already die cut. So we're going to line this up the best we can wherever you want it. I like that. And I'm going to place this here, and we're just going to lightly tap again. Remember to avoid where the corners attach. And hopefully you can see that. Maybe hot pink wasn't the greatest idea for this. What are you gonna do? Okay, so here's what my die cut image looks like right now. And now we're gonna take an X-Acto knife or small scissors and finish cutting our image out. We're just gonna snip the pieces that are not die cut all the way, and that's it. It's a fragile piece, so you're gonna take your time. And here you have it. A bent arrow. How adorable is that? Oh my gosh. And you can see that it's been cut out, and we have the image right there. This actually would be super fun on a card as well, using the negative, I guess. But anyway, so here is my little image. Super fun. Now, there actually is one other way I found out how to do this. It might be a little bit simpler, maybe. I don't know. So I try to make things easy for everybody, but oh my goodness. We'll try and do this again. Okay, so we're going to take our die and we're going to attach it, and we're going to, again, just die cut the fletching part, which is the end of the arrow. Oh, whoops. I didn't realize my paper was so small. Well, that is definitely a blooper. What are you gonna do? Okay, let's try this again. Let's do it this way. Okay, start again. First, we're gonna tap our die to cut the fletching, just like we did before. Now, we're going to flip or rotate, I guess, our arrow, and we're gonna move it down a bit. However wide we want our bent arrow is how far down you want to go. And you're going to line it up the best you can, making it straight with your other piece. And we're going to just die cut to about here, from the head to about right here. So now you can see, oh, this is a much better color. I'm sorry about the hot pink. Okay, so this is much better. Okay, now we're going to connect our two pieces, and we're just gonna do that by die cutting or partially die cutting a little bit of the shaft, and then we're going to finish by cutting it with the X-Acto knife. So just place your arrow die down again, tap just in the center a couple of times, and you can see that I've connected them. Maybe you can't see that. See how I've made this indentation right here? Now I'm going to take, let's find a ruler, and I'm going to literally just cut where that little piece is up to my other die cut image, and this is how we're going to cut it out. Now I said this was easier possibly. Who knows if you'll find this easier, but it's just another way you can do this little fun technique. Don't worry if there's little extra pieces, we'll cut those off. We're going to trim up the excess. And there you have it. 2 different ways to create a bent arrow. I personally like the first one, but you can try both of these and tell me which one you like better. And you know what is even cool about this whole technique is you can have your arrow this way, or you can flip him backwards. I mean, obviously if you don't have any back design on your paper, or you can flip them to the other side. Oh my goodness, how adorable. You could have a sentiment here and then down there. Adorable. I love it. Super cute. I hope that you will create some of your own bent and extended arrow die cut pieces using the new Paper Smooches September release. Please leave a comment below with a link to one of your creations or a link up to our Inspired by Virtual Smooches post. I'd love to check out your project. Thanks so much for watching.